Okay, let's just dive right into this one. Welcome back, everyone, to today's explainer. So today, we're taking a magnifying glass to just a single sentence, really, to uncover the hidden meaning behind, well, constant exhaustion. We're going to completely deconstruct what might actually be a massive life update that's just kind of hiding behind a super ordinary everyday feeling. Let's get right into it.
Be totally honest with me for a second here. Have you been feeling, sleepy? Just a bit weighed down lately? Maybe you're experiencing that sudden, completely unexplainable urge to just curl up on the couch right in the middle of the afternoon. Look, we all get tired, right? But I want you to hold on to that specific feeling, the heavy, drooping eyelids, because context is what gives this symptom its true meaning. Because actually, we aren't just talking about a bad night's sleep here. Notice that phrase all the time. This isn't your standard run-of-the-mill Friday afternoon crash after a long week. No, we are talking about an exhaustion that literally piles up day after day after day. It's this relentless, continuous state. And that brings us to our source text today, which pulls this all together into one really powerful statement. Feeling sleepy all the time is a very common sign of early pregnancy. I mean, wow, right? In just a handful of words, we're given a symptom, a frequency, and a totally life-altering diagnosis. So we are going to spend the rest of this explainer unpacking the architecture of this exact sentence and looking at how it so effectively communicates such a massive biological shift. All right, moving on to section 1, the exhaustion factor. So, feeling sleepy all the time. This is a state of constant, unrelenting tiredness. Honestly, when you read those words, it's like you can almost feel that physical fatigue yourself, can't you? By attaching that little phrase, all the time, the text takes this fleeting feeling and completely anchors it as a permanent condition. It takes this totally everyday sensation and elevates it to a chronic state that absolutely demands our attention. Which naturally leads us to ask, why the constant need for sleep? Like, what is the human body actually trying to communicate when it literally forces you into this state of perpetual rest? Well, when we're faced with a symptom that is this absolute, we really have to look for a cause that's equally demanding on our system. Because your body doesn't just shut down its energy reserves for no reason, right? No, it's redirecting those resources for a massive, massive undertaking. And that brings us to section 2, a very common sign. So often we tend to treat extreme, out-of-nowhere tiredness as this isolated anomaly, like, a weird glitch in our routine, right? But what's fascinating is how this text explicitly normalizes the experience, categorizing it right off the bat as a very common sign. It provides this huge sense of reassurance. Basically, it's saying, if you're experiencing this, you're not an anomaly at all. You're actually going through something that is widely recognized and perfectly natural for this specific situation. So the crucial point here is how this sentence is just perfectly engineered to tell its own little logical mini-narrative. Let's break it down. First, we have the symptom, feeling sleepy all the time. That's our physical setup. Then we get the frequency, a very common sign that gives us our context. And finally, boom, we arrive at the result, early pregnancy. See how those 3 core components just link together? It delivers a crystal clear, unambiguous message without needing a single drop of complex medical jargon. All right, let's get into the big reveal with section 3, the early pregnancy link. And this brilliantly illustrates how early pregnancy completely flips the script on us. That constant yawn, it isn't just a lack of caffeine or, a crazy busy schedule anymore. It is the direct physical manifestation of early pregnancy. It's just a really striking reminder of how our bodies use these incredibly simple yet totally overwhelming signals to announce major internal shifts. Think about it. The energy required to literally begin growing a new life is immense. So your body's natural response? It just forces you to rest. Okay, so let's just trace this logic one last time to really lock it in. Step 1, you notice that constant sleepiness. Step 2, you recognize it as a very common sign. And step 3, you link it to early pregnancy. Based strictly on this single sentence we've been looking at, this is the exact cognitive journey a person takes. You go from confusion to normalization, straight to this massive revelation. It lays out this incredibly clear path from just a physical feeling straight to a real medical understanding. As we wrap up today's explainer, I want to leave you with a final, kind of provocative thought. If constant sleepiness is just the beginning, what other common signs of early pregnancy might be hiding right there in plain sight? Our source text decoded one mystery for us today, but man, it really makes you wonder what other everyday feelings are actually these profound signals just waiting to be understood, doesn't it? Keep asking those questions. Pay super close attention to what your body is telling you, and I will see you in the next explainer.